Lando Norris has shocked the Formula One paddock with a statement that nobody could have anticipated, not because of what it revealed about his teammate Oscar Piastri, but because of how directly it challenged McLaren's handling of one of the most sensitive championship battles in recent memory. For weeks, the narrative surrounding McLaren has been dominated by the fallout from Monza, a weekend where strategy decisions overshadowed what should have been a demonstration of the team's strength. Fans, pundits, and even rival teams have been locked in heated debate over fairness, bias, and whether McLaren can truly manage two title contenders in the same garage without the situation spiraling into chaos. Just when it seemed like the controversy was beginning to quiet down, Norris reignited the firestorm with remarks so bold that even his own bosses were reportedly caught off guard. He praised Piastri's calm and dignified response to the Monza controversy, calling it beautiful, but then delivered a sting in the tail by warning that such decisions must never become the norm. In a single moment, Norris transformed himself from a silent competitor to an outspoken critic, making it clear that he would not allow Formula One to become a sport where results are manipulated off-track rather than fought for on it. What makes Norris's comments so significant is their timing. He is currently deep in the heart of the title fight, sitting just 31 points behind Piastri with 8 races left to run. He has every reason to accept any advantage that might fall his way, yet instead he chose to speak out, prioritizing the integrity of racing over personal benefit. In doing so, he has forced McLaren to confront the uncomfortable truth that the Monza saga cannot simply be brushed aside. Norris has effectively told his team that while he is willing to compete fairly, he refuses to see Formula One reduced to a scripted performance where strategy calls rewrite results after the fact. His honesty has sent shockwaves across the paddock, especially since many believe Norris is the driver McLaren secretly favor. For supporters of Norris, his stance represents the spirit of a true racer, someone who values winning through merit rather than politics. Critics, however, argue that his words are a calculated move designed to protect his image, allowing him to hold the moral high ground while still benefiting from team orders when convenient. Either way, the impact is undeniable. By publicly praising Piastri while simultaneously warning McLaren, Norris has both eased tensions with his teammate and turned the spotlight squarely onto his team's management. From now on, every pit stop, every radio exchange, and every strategic decision will be scrutinized more heavily than ever before through the lens of fairness. What began as an internal drama has exploded into a global talking point, magnified by Norris's willingness to break his silence. And this, many believe, is just the start. McLaren may be on track to secure the Constructors' Championship, but the real story has shifted from dominance on the circuit to dysfunction behind the scenes. Norris's words have transformed the narrative, ensuring that this championship battle will not only be remembered for its lap times and victories, but also for its questions about leadership, integrity, and whether McLaren can resist interfering in a way that damages its credibility. The final stages of the season now promise fireworks, with the world watching closely to see whether McLaren will let its drivers fight freely or continue to intervene in ways that divide opinion. Norris has never been known as a driver who thrives on drama, yet his latest remarks regarding Piastri and McLaren stand as the most dramatic twist of the season so far. What makes them resonate is not just their content, but also the identity of the man delivering them. Norris has built his reputation on being lighthearted, approachable, and a fan favorite, the paddock's joker who entertains with humor rather than politics. He has rarely been the type to criticize his own team, especially with the championship on the line. That's why his blunt comments after Monza have left both McLaren and the wider F1 community stunned. By describing Piastri's reaction to the controversial team orders as beautiful and then insisting such sacrifices cannot become routine, Norris cut through the noise with clarity that has reshaped the tone of the title fight. This wasn't a throwaway remark. It was a declaration of principle, Norris planting a flag in the ground and clearly marking what he is willing to tolerate and what he is not. His words carried weight precisely because of their balance. Norris openly admitted that he personally benefited from the Monza swap. He acknowledged that a slow pit stop dropped him behind Piastri and that the team intervened to fix the order. But instead of defending the decision, he emphasized that bad luck is part of the DNA of Formula One. Pit stops go wrong, tires fail, strategies collapse, These unpredictable moments are what define the sport. To artificially correct every misfortune, in his eyes, is a slippery slope that risks undermining the essence of racing. His comments reminded everyone that fairness and authenticity cannot be compromised in pursuit of convenience. Fans were struck most by his honesty. Here was a driver locked in a title fight, with everything to gain from McLaren's choices, saying openly that he doesn't want to win in such a manner. For a young racer chasing his first world championship, that stance was both unexpected and powerful, a statement that credibility matters as much as collecting points. Within McLaren, however, his words have complicated an already delicate situation. Piastri has been portrayed as the ultimate team player, saying he would accept team orders even if it cost him the championship, as long as it protected the squad's overall success. While that response earned admiration, it also painted him as the sacrificial lamb. Norris's intervention shifted that perception. By praising Piastri's selflessness, yet warning against institutionalizing such sacrifices, Norris managed to respect his teammate while simultaneously criticizing management's approach. It was a delicate balancing act that reportedly stunned his bosses. On one side, he displayed solidarity with Piastri. On the other, he fired a warning shot at Zak Brown and Andrea Stella, making it clear he will not tolerate a culture of artificial results. His dual message allowed him to distance himself from accusations of favoritism while transferring responsibility back onto McLaren's leadership. What makes this even more remarkable is how Norris broadened the conversation beyond Monza. He spoke about team morale, about balance in the garage, and about the dangers of favoritism tearing teams apart. He pointed to examples from Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes, teams that have all suffered the destructive consequences of internal rivalries when fairness was abandoned. He reminded everyone that McLaren's revival is still fresh, that this is only their second season in genuine title contention, and that their dream of building an era of dominance could collapse if favoritism is allowed to creep in. Beneath his carefully chosen words was an undeniable truth. McLaren cannot afford to play favorites, and if they do, their golden era may end before it truly begins. The fact that this warning came from Norris, the very driver many fans believe McLaren prefer, made it even more dramatic. It was as if he had directly addressed conspiracy theories, declaring he refuses to be treated as the chosen one. The ripple effects have been extraordinary. Fans divided after Monza are now even more split. Some believe Norris is genuine, applauding him for his transparency and refusal to accept hollow victories. Others are convinced his words were calculated, a strategy to protect his image while still enjoying team benefits. Pundits have weighed in too, with many suggesting Norris has cleverly shielded himself from criticism by adopting the moral high ground. Whatever the motivation, the result is clear. His comments have ramped up pressure on McLaren's management. Zak Brown, already under fire for appearing indecisive, now has two drivers making public remarks that reveal cracks in the team's unity. Piastri emphasizes loyalty, Norris emphasizes fairness, and Brown is left trying to reconcile conflicting messages while steering McLaren through one of its most intense title battles in decades. The consequences could be massive. From this point forward, every team decision will be judged through the prism of Norris's honesty. Every pit stop will be analyzed, every radio call dissected, and every strategy questioned by fans and pundits alike. Rivals will seize on any slip-up, painting McLaren as divided and fragile. And perhaps most significantly, Piastri himself, who has already complied once, may feel empowered by Norris's comments not to yield again if faced with a similar situation. In that sense, Norris has not only commented on Monza's fallout, but has raised the stakes for every remaining race. The conversation has shifted from whether McLaren can manage two drivers fighting for the title to whether they can withstand the external and internal pressure their own drivers have now fueled. This is why Norris's remarks have hit so hard. They were not delivered with theatrical flair, but their impact has been devastating. In one statement, he praised his teammate, protected his reputation, and exposed the fragility of McLaren's leadership. For fans, it has added a thrilling new dimension to the championship story. For McLaren, it has created a problem larger than the one they already faced. And for Norris himself, it has solidified his image not only as a title contender, but also as a driver unafraid to confront uncomfortable truths. Whether his honesty strengthens McLaren or tears them apart remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: Lando Norris's unexpected statement has stunned Formula One and ensured that the rest of this season will be defined not only by what happens on track, but also by how McLaren responds to the storm within.